For hundreds of years, travellers have experienced strange happenings whilst on their journey, seeing or meeting strange apparitions such as highway ghosts, phantom hitchhikers and other spirit beings. The following 8 cases might make you think twice before you take that next trip. Number 8, Yorkshire, England. In the late 1960s, a coach driver was returning from a job. The coach was empty and he was heading home to Manchester. It was early in the morning and he was making his way down unlit country lane when suddenly, from nowhere, a woman dressed in a long white dress stepped out in front of the coach, waving her arms for him to stop. The driver slammed on the brakes, but large vehicles are unable to suddenly grind to a halt, and he ran over her. After stopping, the driver leapt from the vehicle, fearing he'd hit the woman. He checked all around the coach and the road, but could see nothing. He then checked beneath the vehicle. Nothing. He got a torch and checked everywhere. Nothing. No blood, no clothing, no sign of the woman. He guessed he'd imagined everything. But then he suddenly glanced at a farmer's field hundreds of metres away. There in the distance, in the dark, stood the woman in white, waving her arms. Number 7, Queensland, Australia. Mark had been a paraplegic for nearly 30 years, but when he was young, in the 1980s, he often rode whilst stoned and intoxicated and rode his bike fast. One night, about 12:30 a.m, he was riding along the Bruce Highway in Queensland. Suddenly, he felt the bike lower under the weight of another person and felt the tingling sensation of arms around his waist and a chin resting against his back. To make matters even more frightening, the lights from oncoming cars revealed a pair of skeletal arms wrapped around his waist, which caused him to lose control and crash his bike into an oncoming car. He woke up weeks later from a coma as a paraplegic. Was this a warning that came too late, or a deadly premonition? Number 6, Massachusetts, USA. For more than 30 years, a red-headed man has been seen walking down Route 44 in Massachusetts. At times, he's seen hitchhiking, and other times, he's been seen walking into the woods or in the middle of the road, not moving as cars passed through him. Once he was seen outside the window of a car that was moving at more than 40 miles per hour. He is described as being about 6 foot, well-built, with red hair and a red beard, and wearing jeans and a red flannel shirt. People who have seen him say his eyes appear lifeless. Hitchhikers that tried to interact with him would suddenly see him vanish before their eyes, but after vanishing, he would then laugh. A woman reported stopping to pick the man up, but he disappeared as he went to grab the door handle. Her car battery then died, and then she heard a man laughing at her, though he could no longer be seen. Then minutes later, the car started. One man, who had been driving alone, saw the man on the side of the road. He stopped and called out to him, and the red-headed man started to walk towards him. But as he got closer, the ghost slowly faded until he completely disappeared. Another witness saw the man appear in the backseat of his car through the rear-view mirror. The radio started to automatically scan stations and then became very loud, and the car vibrated. The man then disappeared and laughter was heard on the radio. Number 5, Belchen Tunnel, Switzerland. The Belchen Tunnel is 3.2 kilometres long and was built in the 1960s. One side of the tunnel has become well known for a phantom hitchhiker that will be picked up from the motorway only to vanish from the vehicle while still in the tunnel. The ghost is known as the White Lady, and is described as being an old woman dressed all in white and appears out of nowhere. One experience happened in 1983 when 2 female lawyers picked up this elderly lady dressed in white. They said she looked middle-aged and pale. Believing she may be ill, they inquired about her health, and the lady confirmed that she was not feeling at all. She then told the 2 women that something terrible was going to happen. Short time later, one of the women turned again to inquire about the White Lady's health, only to find she had vanished, and to make matters stranger, she had somehow alighted from a moving two-door car. This is the story that many people have told of an old woman appearing on the road at night, and they slow down to assist her. She then hitches a ride, but after a few kilometres, she suddenly vanishes. The woman always looks sick and tired, and when drivers ask about her health, her reply is always the same, that something terrible is about to happen. Number 4, Dumfries, Scotland. Bob Sturgeon runs a snack van on the A75 near Dumfries, Scotland, and said he was regularly frequented by early morning truck drivers who witnessed strange happenings. One regular sighting were groups of dejected, bedraggled people pulling handcarts or carrying bundles like some medieval camp followers. One truck driver who had been parked on an A75 stretch of road woke up at about 3 a.m. frozen in fear as he witnessed strange groups of people walking along the road. For almost 50 years, some drivers are convinced they've run over ghosts and witnessed horsemen, carriages and phantom figures of men and women emerging from the dark. In 1957, a truck driver ran over a couple who were arm in arm crossing the road in front of his truck. But when he stopped, the couple had vanished. In 1995, Garson and Monica Miller were driving on the A75 when they saw the figure of a middle-aged man wearing a hessian sack folded over his head, and his hands were outstretched towards the direction of the car. Driving at 60 miles per hour, the couple were convinced they had hit the man, so then reversed back to the spot, but the figure had gone. In 1997, Donna Maxwell and the 2 children were travelling on the A75 when a man in his 30s with short hair, red top and dark trousers jumped out in front of the car, causing her to brake. Closing her eyes and bracing herself for impact, she was convinced she had hit him. But when she opened her eyes and looked around the car, there was no sign of the man. The police thoroughly searched the area, but there was no evidence of an accident. Number 3, Fukushima, Japan. Near Fukushima, where the 2011 tsunami hit, almost 6,000 people died, and taxi drivers have reported seeing ghosts with no heads, bodies that do not have limbs, and spirits of dead people. One such encounter was a female passenger who held a cab a few months after the disaster. The woman instructed the taxi driver to take her to Minamihama district, but he told the passenger that no one lives in that area due to the devastation caused by the tsunami. The woman replied, "Have I died?" And when the driver checked his passenger, the cab was empty. Another taxi driver recounted picking up a man in his 20s. When the taxi driver looked into the rearview mirror, he saw the man pointing towards the front of the car. When the driver asked the passenger his destination, the young man said, "To the mountain." However, when they reached the mountain, the passenger was nowhere to be found. Another taxi driver regularly sees ghosts wandering around the town and gets physical symptoms of tingling and depression when he's near them. Number 2, Tuen Mun, Hong Kong. This road was opened in 1977, and in the past 35 years there have been an extremely high number of car accidents, where many drivers who have been involved in the accidents said something mysterious had caused them to crash. Locals believe that ghosts cause some of these accidents by appearing out of nowhere, causing the drivers to swerve to avoid them. The ghosts that suddenly appear in the middle of the road have been causing many of the fatalities. The worst accident happened in 2003 when a truck driver lost control and ploughed into a passenger bus, where both ended up crashing through the guardrail and over a steep cliff, killing 21 people. Witnesses claim that at the time of the collision they saw ghosts on the highway. Other drivers involved in accidents said something or someone took complete control of the steering wheel, causing them to lose control. Other drivers said they'd seen glowing eyes in the bushes that lined the freeway. However, it is not only locals that have reported witnessing ghosts. Many tourists who know nothing about the eerie stories reported seeing strange apparitions appearing in front of them. To make matters worse, it appears the ghosts of the crash victims are being added to the already high number of spirits. It is interesting to note that before the freeway was even built, The area was known for its hauntings. Number 1. Western Cape Province, South Africa. In 1968, a young couple were driving 200 miles east of Cape Town near Uniondale when they unfortunately crashed and the young woman was killed. In 1976, a young driver named Anton Lagrange picked up a young lady who got into the back of his car and after talking for just a few seconds, turned around to find she had gone. He went to the police station in Uniondale, where the policeman then drove behind him to locate where she disappeared, fearing she had fallen out of the car. Whilst following him, he twice saw the rear door open and close by itself, whilst nobody got in or out of the vehicle. It was later revealed that the location that Anton had picked her up was where the young woman was killed in 1968. More amazingly, he was able to identify her in a photo, and her name was Maria Roo. In 1978, a man named Dwight Van Jaarsveld was riding his motorbike during the day when he stopped to pick up a young woman. She put on helmet and headphones to listen to music, but after about 1 kilometre, the bike appeared to wriggle, and as he looked back, she had completely vanished, with the helmet by his side and the headphones dangling loose. In 1980, on the same stretch of road, Andre Kurtzy was riding his motorbike when he suddenly felt some hands around his waist and realised he had taken on a passenger. Was it the same woman? He accelerated in fear, and after a few moments, she just disappeared. If you like our content and want to support Weird World, why not share your thoughts and hit that like and subscribe button? Our goal is to reach 30,000 subscribers. See you next week, folks, and remember, keep it weird.